So changing the subject just a little bit, we have some fantastic news for The Mandalorian. Fans have been asking for a long time, why do we not have any physical releases when it comes to Disney Plus shows? Marvel, Star Wars, in today's day and age it's all streaming services, and physical content is becoming more sparse, but there are tons of Star Wars fans, myself included, who want to buy it physically. The problem with streaming services, especially Disney Plus, is sometimes they remove shows, such as Willow. I'm not saying that would ever happen to Mando, but fans want the option to physically own certain projects, certain shows and movies, just like the old days. And maybe for some fans, they just want to watch The Mandalorian, but they don't want to be forever subscribed to Disney Plus in order to watch their favourite episodes. Well, in a huge announcement, and this comes from TheWrap.com, Disney Plus series The Mandalorian, WandaVision, and Loki are coming to Blu-ray and 4K UHD later this year. Pre-orders start on August 28th, and for Mando, you can buy these on December 12th. But there are a couple of caveats and a few poignant things to bear in mind. First of all, it's just seasons 1 and 2. Now don't worry, I'm not going to go on a huge spiel about how I didn't like season 3 as much. I do think they could have included this in the box set as well as the Book of Boba Fett, but that might come afterwards. But for the time being, it's just Mando 1 and 2, some of the best episodes of the entire series. I remember when we talked about season 2, it wasn't long after my channel started, and something about The Mandalorian's first 2 seasons just brings me so much comfort. It's some of my favourite Star Wars, not just because of the quality of storytelling, and Disney Lucasfilm come out and say, we're going to be starting a post-Return of the Jedi series about this bounty hunter wandering the galaxy. Then there was the surprise and the mystery surrounding Grogu, the amazing action sequences. As a Rebels fan, I couldn't believe Moff Gideon, at the end of episode 8, escaped the TIE fighter using the Darksaber. I was like, what is going on? And Mandalorians up until that point were a very tantalizing concept. We saw them in the Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, but before that in KOTOR and video games, and mainly in live action it was really just Jango Fett, and there were some books and comics around about the time of the prequel trilogy that got fans into the culture too. But the Mandalorian Disney Plus TV series was something that promised a live-action Mando and exploring their culture in a deeper way. Fans were theorizing about the armor and how other connections from Mandalorians in the expanded universe and in canon could be integrated properly into this project. You can understand why Mando was a pop culture sensation. Season 2 brought the cameos and ended with Luke Skywalker. No one saw that coming. And now you can own the first 2 seasons, that amazing journey, on Blu-ray and 4K UHD. Now I spoke about the caveats to this. Firstly, the fact they're deliberately making the Disney Plus version better, because for the physical discs they're not using Dolby Vision, so they're gonna look a bit high quality on the streaming service rather than on these discs. I think it's pretty clear Disney are just thinking about long-term profit, and they know Star Wars fans love to collect the physical versions of films, so they're gonna do the same for the shows. I don't know if they're gonna do this for Boba, Kenobi and Andor, but they're starting with Mando season 1 and 2. This is pretty huge news. This is massive. They don't tend to do this kind of thing. There has been a bit of speculation this is kind of like a confession from Disney that they should have done this a long time ago and fans were right, but I think it's as simple as they're just seeing dollar signs. They can take advantage of all possible revenue streams, the physical versions, the streaming service, but it is curious they didn't throw in season 3. I don't know if it's because of the way season 3 performed. We don't have exact statistics, those are from third parties, because Disney Plus tends not to reveal too much about how certain shows do, but thanks to other sources we do have a general idea. Season 3 was scrutinized for various plot holes and also episodes such as the Lizzo one. There are moments that for some fans just felt very out of the norm. And a sentiment you heard a lot back in April is that Mando has lost its way. It's not the same show it used to be. This is gonna vary fan to fan, and many loved season 3, so I'm not gonna say that is the unilateral monolithic opinion. It's not. But there might be other reasons Disney did not include the 3rd season in this box set. And as I said, there are a couple of Marvel shows experiencing the same 4K Blu-ray treatment, and here's what they say for those. The special features for Loki release include designing the TVA, as well as deleted scenes, a gag reel, and assembled documentary. Special features for the other releases will be shared at a later date. For The Mandalorian, it's believed there are going to be behind the scenes, maybe some clips from the Disney gallery, maybe the entire documentary, who knows. The show debuted to an enthusiastic fan response in 2019. It very quickly became the flagship series for Disney Plus, for the company's direct-to-consumer streaming platform, and inspired a whole host of other shows. We had the Book of Boba Fett, and now Ahsoka. WandaVision, the first Marvel Studios Disney Plus series, which debuted on the platform in January of 2021, is also getting a physical release. Loki debuted several months later on June 9th, resurrecting the Tom Hiddleston character that died at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War. So some very important stuff, and for me as a Mando fan, I just love to binge watch the whole thing. I've done it several times. I start right at the beginning with Season 1, Episode 1, Chapter 1, The Mandalorian, all the way up to the rescue of Season 2, and I have a great time doing it. I notice something different every time I watch it, different Easter eggs. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are masters of world building, so I suppose if this is one of the ways Disney is going to generate revenue going forward and making physical versions for every Disney Plus Star Wars release, then you can kind of pick and choose what you like if you don't want to be subscribed to the service long term. Granted, it might be of lower quality in terms of the visuals and the sound, but that is a decision consumers have to make. I think I speak for a lot of Mandalorian fans when I say I really can't wait to pick this up. I might treat myself to this at Christmas. They might pull the old, these are limited, these are rare, and make a lot of profit that way. They also come with concept art cards and some yet to be revealed bonus features. And so finally, in other Star Wars news, after Ahsoka is done, The Acolyte is probably going to be the next live-action Star Wars show, and that comes in 2024. I've been doing some homework in terms of High Republic comics. I really enjoy familiar characters in that time period like Yoda. It kind of helps to ground the whole thing. And there are signs that Lucasfilm is really pushing content around this era in the build-up to that show, the Leslie Headland series, which Lucasfilm is very confident is going to be a winner. And there is a kids show. We've spoken about it before, and it's doing really well. So much so, there are more episodes coming, some on November 8th, and some next year in 2024, in the build-up to The Acolyte, although as I say, I don't think there's necessarily connections between the two. And I know, this is not for everyone, it is a bit childish, but it does have its merits. Season 1 is going to be 25 episodes long, and they're just bringing more and more to the table. I wonder if this is a success for Disney+. I mentioned how we don't know the statistics, we don't know their analytics, how well they do, but I can imagine this appealing to a wide array of Star Wars fans, especially those with families and young kids. It's a fun show, the colours are vibrant, it's a very easy to follow Star Wars series, even for adults. There are some really cool takes on some familiar species that we don't see adapted too often, but also the messages in the show. The pirate pokes holes in the ways of the Jedi, and the Jedi tells him that being a pirate is not the best way forward. There's some lessons there about doing good in the world, and being there for other people. And I've been a casual observer to it, sometimes I'll just put it on in the background. It's surprisingly refreshing, and I suppose a part of me is interested in The Acolyte, which is also High Republic, so in a way I'm getting some preparation, although I don't think there is any connection between the two shows. Michael Olsen, who worked on Young Jedi Adventures, I don't believe had any involvement in The Acolyte, but if one of these characters does appear, that'll be awesome. A little Easter egg if you will.